What's up everyone, Etienne Crete here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. I want to share with you today how to learn from your losses or your losing trades. Something that you might know about. Everyone says that, of course, it's a common advice out there for traders, but how exactly do you do it? Well, that's a question. So let's dive right in. I want to show you how that works for me, and you can apply the same principles, same exercise in your trading, of course, and that's going to help you a lot to be able to get better and better and better at trading over time. So you might think that in trading, if you're like most people, that you can just like brush off your losses with your wins. And when you have a couple of wins, that they will make up for your losses and you're totally fine and you can just keep trading and you're good with it. Now, the big issue for most people here is that most winning trades kind of make you forget your losses. But as traders, we need to be able to understand our losses. And from there, we can define a growth area. So a way for us to improve and to learn from our losing trades. I want you to comment below and let me know if you've heard this advice before. You must learn from your losing trades, something you've learned before or no. Maybe you heard it like many times before, but you don't know exactly how to do it. Or maybe you think, oh, I know how that works. And then you can just move on. That's totally fun. But let me know in the comment section below if you heard this before or no. And I'm curious to know how many people here have heard this before or no. Now, here's an exercise I want to share with you that's going to work really well for learning from your losses. This is an exercise by Brett Steenbarger. Brett Steenbarger is a trade psychologist. He wrote a couple of books, including one here in the corner that's The Daily Trading Coach, a really good book that I really love. I read through this book like maybe 5 times total, and I learned something new every time. So this is like a one-on-one lesson for becoming your own trading psychologist. Really powerful stuff. And the exercise he gives here in the book is simply that at the end of a trading day or week, for me it's going to be week because I swing trade. If you day trade, you do this at the end of every day of trading. You make 3 columns on your paper, it could be online as well, on your computer, wherever, in a document. And you write down these 3 things. In the first column, you describe your losses. So you write down for the day or for the week, what were your losses? What happened for your losses? How did they occur? What was going on in the market at that time? And then the second thing is you write, what can you learn from it, from these losses? Are there some things some insights you have, some things you learn from it? Now you write this down in the second column. In the third column, you write down how will you improve your trading from these losses in the next day or the next week, depending on when you do this. Now, this might seem simple, but it's really powerful because you tend to not think about your losses that much. It's like, oh, it's a loss, it just went to my stop loss, and what can I do? But in reality, there's a lot you can do to this, and this can bring you a lot of ideas, a lot of new thoughts that you didn't think about before. And it can be really powerful for you to become a better trader over time. So that's the theory. Now I want to show you how I make this in practice. So here I am in my Google Drive folder for trading. I've been keeping this with all my things for trading. And you'll see here I have 2 different sheets. One is a template that I'll give you access to, and the other one is my own personal sheet. For open here the template so you can have a look. So the weekly trading improvement cheat sheet is designed for you to be able to learn from your losses, like we said, and these losses can be used as a tool to improve your trading instead of just being discouraging for you. I invite you to learn from your mistakes with this sheet. Basically, this is for 12 consecutive weeks that I've done it, and 12 weeks, of course, is 3 months, so it's the quarter. It's enough time for you to be able to see some pretty big change and to get some results from this cheat sheet. So you can have access to this. If you want to get access, I'll leave it below the first link. What you do once you get here is if you want to copy it to your own Google Drive or if you want to use it, you can go here, it's written here, you go File, then make a copy to save it to your own drive. So you go here, File, make a copy, and you can save this to your own drive anywhere you want. So that's pretty cool. And if you want to just download it and use it in Word or any Word editor you want, just go here, you do File, and you do Download to get it on your own computer or device or whatever. Awesome. So here you have some example of it that I fill in for each column. So how did you learn from your losing trades? What can you learn from it? How will you improve from your trading week? But these you can learn you can read them on your own if you want after. What I want to show you here is my own sheet that I filled in for a few weeks now. I'll give you some example here, 2 examples from the past 2 weeks. Here's the first week. So how did you learn from how did your losing trades happen this past week? Sorry about that. So I had no losing trade this week, in that week. Only 1 trade at 5 pip trail stop loss. So in the sense that I moved my stop loss like my plan said to move it, and the trade got closed. Trade hit the stop loss at 5 pip in profit. So it's not a loss, but it stopped out anyway. It just doesn't count as a loss. In the past week earlier, I had 1 loss on JP and ZD, one candle went in my favor, but then it broke out of the zone and went against me. So do that. Awesome. And then what can you learn from your losses? So what can you learn from it? Not much. I could have done better, of course. This is my typical stop out. So interesting. And then you gotta force yourself to think about ways to improve and become better, because otherwise there's no point to do that. Here, I write down how will you learn from, how will you improve your trading next week? Learn more about signs of reversals, signs of breakout versus reversals to decide if I should trade at any given level. Which means that if I can predict better if price will break out or reverse, then I'm much better off, because I'll be able to take some trades and not take some trades based on if they will break out or not. And I made a note here. It was the fourth recent daily touch on the resistance area. So price went there 4 times, touched the resistance area 4 times, and then it broke out on my setup. So something to note here. I'll do some research on that. That's a cool way to improve. Now week 2 here, it's a different example. So on week 2 actually, and we'll talk about this later pretty soon, I missed a really good trade on GBP CAD that was beyond my zone by just a little, and I took another short, but price continued before reversing. So yeah, before that trade on GBP CAD, I took another short that went against me pretty fast. And this one, the second one, I missed it, which was really good. It was a bit outside my zone on the algo, so I missed it. So that's what happened there. What can I learn from it? Sometimes price makes a great setup, but isn't ready to reverse yet. And jumping in the first trade isn't always the best idea, isn't always good, right? So price could do a setup first and then fail, and then set up after and win, which is what happened there. So that's just a good note for me. And how will I improve my trading next week? Maybe a pullback strategy could be more effective, or a 2-part entry at first setup, so the reversal setup, and then the second entry, let's say at the pullback, or a bit later when price moves in your favor. That's an idea. Doesn't mean it's going to work at all. It could be not working, it could be working. But these are ideas to be able to improve our trading, become better over time. And if we don't have that, then we cannot become better. So we must have these ideas and these thoughts from our own performance and our losses to be able to become better. Okay, so like I said, losses versus missed trades. You'll see often that depending on how you are, you might be more impulsive, which means maybe not miss many trades, or maybe you're more cautious like me, you miss more trades. It's important to take care of your missed trades as well. So for me, I consider my missed trade to be losses as well, because I didn't take them and I could have been in profit. So I want to pay close attention to them. What made me miss these trades? What happened exactly? And I treat this exactly like I would treat a loss, and then try to write down why I miss it, how can I learn from it, and what can I do next week to become better. So if you want to get access to this weekly trading improvement plan or this cheat sheet, I'll give you access below, the first link. I prepared this cheat sheet for you that is going to help you track your losses and track what you can learn from it. The goal, of course, to be able to become better traders together, and I hope you can get some good results with it. So check this out, link below, of course, and I hope that's going to be helpful for you. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below, of course. I'm happy to answer your questions. You cannot, of course, put losses away. You cannot avoid all losses, but you can for sure learn from them. And that's the goal of this whole video today. So hope that helps. And that being said, subscribe if it's not done yet. I'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon. Ciao.